Good afternoon, or whatever greeting is appropriate for whatever time of day it is for you. My name is Koleye. Aaron and I are here in the Polandball News Network studio to bring you the absolute most reliable news out there. If anyone else tells you that we're wrong about anything, do not believe them. Our top story today. American intelligence officials have informed PNN that they believe Russia may deploy a nuclear weapon in space. In a statement, American Space Force Commander Johnny Rico said, It's believed that a nuclear weapon detonation in space could produce an electromagnetic pulse large enough to knock out hundreds, if not thousands, of defense and commercial satellites, irrespective of the country of origin. We asked some sweaty science fiction turbo nerds for their thoughts on the development. They universally expressed optimism at the prospect of space warfare growing ever closer. We'll bring you more on this story as it develops. Probably. Maybe. Farmers in India and Poland have recently staged large protests driven by increasing price pressures. In India, protesters from the Haryana and Punjab states have demanded the government set guaranteed minimum crop prices, as well as increases in income and loan waivers. In Poland, farmers have been protesting what they believe are overly restrictive environmental rules and competition from cheaper agricultural imports from places like Ukraine. In a compromise brokered by the United Nations, the United States has agreed to buy the entirety of both countries' agricultural exports at 200% of market price in order to make the world's largest everything bagel. In what is currently a strong contender for coolest headline of 2024, US prosecutors have charged a Japanese Yakuza leader with conspiring to traffic nuclear materials. The United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, the Assistant Attorney General of the Justice Department's National Security Division, and the Administrator of the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency charged Takeshi Ebisawa, a leader within the Yakuza transnational organized crime syndicate, with trafficking uranium and weapons-grade plutonium. Ebisawa was caught in a sting operation, where he showed samples of nuclear materials in Thailand to an undercover DEA agent posing as a narcotics and weapons trafficker. We don't have any jokes here, we just thought this story was rad as hell. Now to Poland for the weather.
Dzień dobry. Polska here to shine light inside anus for weather. Middelfart, Denmark. We have slight, very chills throughout the week. Mostly clouds is Monday. Tuesdays is part of cloudings. Wednesdays, sun is mostly behind cloud against once more. Thursday is all cloud. Denmark. Denmark, listen to me. Do not the despairs. Do not do the kill yourself. Friday is water, but it gets in everywhere before after the noons, but not after the noons. Saturday is most or more cloud. Sunday clouds is parts of sky. Okay, it's finished. Go away now, but politings?
Thanks for the weather. With you speaking of Japan, I would really like to use that to segue into our next topic for the day. The Japanese recession. How exciting. Who doesn't love the drab grimness of economics? Maybe if the Yakuza started smuggling more than just drugs and plutonium to give the economy a kick in the arse to jumpstart it, we wouldn't have to talk about economics. Alas, you can't always get what you want. The recession that began last year has taken a turn for the worse, with Japan losing its position as the world's third largest economy, something that many Japanese claim to be deeply shameful. But let's hold off on the seppuku for now. I still have to tell you all who has replaced them, since it may put your mind at ease. Let's give a round of applause for Germany! Woo! Congratulations! You are now the world's third largest economy. Well done. Good job. With both Germany and Japan being near the top of the world's economies and Italy being way below them, it feels just like World War II all over again. Let's just hope they don't try to reenact it. I really enjoy my Toyota and Adidas shoes. And while you'll all say that I'm being paranoid, keep in mind that those shifty Germans have been working to increase their military output. Yeah, they say it's to meet with their NATO commitments or whatever, but you know I'm smarter than that. I see what they're up to over there, and you can't fool me. Who knows? Maybe some friendly X-axis on X-axis competition will be just what Japan needs to get grinding again and take back their spot as the third strongest economy in the world. Better to have them fight each other than us, right? Besides, with companies like Sony, Nintendo, Toyota, and Panasonic, surely they can claw their way back. If not, Germany better start making some video games to really widen that gap, not just Leopard 2 tanks. Either way, we're all cheering for you, Japan. You can do this. madness. Anyways, we will continue to follow this story as it progresses. In other Russia-related news, it seems that one of their allies is not so pleased with them lately. Armenia, their little buddy to the south, has decided to withdraw from the CSTO military alliance. So, what is the CSTO, you might ask? Well, you'll be surprised that it does not stand for Crappy Shitty Turd Organization. CSTO is a knockoff of the NATO, known as NATO, military alliance, except with less freedom, money, and guitar solos. Consisting of Kazakhstan, Belarus, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Russia, and soon formerly Armenia, the CSTO is Russia's answer to NATO, a military alliance that promises the defense of its members if ever they are attacked. With the unhinged and bloodthirsty West constantly threatening to burn Eurasia to the ground, it only makes sense, right? Well, Armenia no longer thinks so. When Azerbaijan attacked the breakaway Armenian exclave of Artsakh in September of 2022, Armenia triggered Article 4, their knockoff version of our Article 5, which asks for military help. They were met by awkward silences and the occasional cricket. They weren't getting any help. They would go on to lose that war in a month. 2 years later, Azerbaijan came back for more. They wanted all of Artsakh this time. Yet again, Armenia's cries for help went unnoticed and the territory was lost to the Azeris. Safe to say, the Armenians are pretty pissed off with Russia. Who would have thought a Russian military alliance wouldn't honor their word? What a shock, I tell you. Surrounded by enemies with few friends, it seems that Armenia is in for some very tough times ahead.
Thanks for that, Aaron. There really doesn't seem to be a shortage of stories about Russia being an asshole, huh? Speaking of assholes, Hungary, a largely irrelevant, oft-forgotten state somewhere in that mess of countries in Central and/or Eastern Europe, someone really should try and unify that part of the world, finally got around to ratifying Sweden's accession to NATO. After almost 2 years of unnecessary bullshit, Hungary's parliament voted 188 to 6 in favor of approving Swedish membership in NATO. 188 to 6. 188 to 6! That's a higher approval than the Swedish parliament gave to their own NATO application. 2 years! We waited 2 years for this fucking bullshit. 2 fucking years! With Sweden's entry into NATO imminent, the Baltic Sea is about to become NATO Lake. The entire Western world would like to thank Vladimir Putin and his unrestrained idiocy for ending more than 2 centuries of Swedish neutrality and finally giving the West superiority in horned Viking helmets.
Wowza, it sure has been an exciting week. Well, at least for some of us. As always, thank you for joining Koleye and I this week. It's always such a pleasure. Hopefully you're all able to join us for next week's episode of PNN. With the way things are going, I can almost guarantee you it's going to be very entertaining. I think I just heard today that France's President Emmanuel Macron said that NATO boots on Ukrainian soil wasn't even off the table. Now that's complete madness. Well, it's something to look forward to at least. After their history in the world wars, I'm surprised the French would be so eager to get themselves back into a fight like that. Good on them. Anyways, until next time, this is PNN, your Polandball News Network, tuning out.